Mr. White lived in a place called Drugland. Everything and everyone in Drugland was completely addicted to drugs. In Drugland, the birds are so wasted they fly backwards. In Drugland, the worms spend most of their time completely munted. But have you ever seen a sausage dog snaffling a line of cocaine? Well, you have now. Our story begins at the local school where Mr. White was teaching the children chemistry. He was just describing a particularly long chemical formula when suddenly he coughed. Oh dear, said Mr. White. I don't like the look of that. Oh dear, said Dr. Make-You-Well. I'm afraid you've got lung cancer. Oh dear, said Mr. White. That is terrible news. How bad is it exactly? Put it this way, said Dr. Make-You-Well. If I was you, I wouldn't be renewing any magazine subscriptions in the near future. Oh shit, said Mr. White. We really need to start your treatment right away, said Dr. Make-You-Well. Here, take this special pill. Mr. White swallowed the pill, and immediately all of his hair fell out. Bollocks, said Mr. White. Well, I think it looks pretty cool, said Dr. Make-You-Well. He then lit up his crack pipe. Poor Mr. White drove home feeling very sorry for himself. He was particularly worried about his family's future. I should probably think about getting my affairs in order, he thought to himself. Just then, at the traffic lights, who should appear but an old student of Mr. White's, called Jesse Pinkman. Hello, Jesse, said Mr. White. Hello, Mr. White, said Jesse. How are you? Not so well, said Mr. White. In fact, I'm rather poorly and have very little time to live. Oh dear. Would you like to buy some hash? Said Jesse. You know, take the edge off. No, thank you, said Mr. White. But suddenly, Mr. White had an extraordinary idea. I say, said Mr. White, I was just wondering if you might consider joining me in building an enormous crystal methamphetamine empire. You see, by combining my extensive chemistry expertise and your narcotics know-how, we could make quite a go of it. And what's more, the rapid capital income will more than secure future financial protection for my soon-to-be bereaved family. Sure, bitch, said Jesse. Later that day, Mr. White and Jesse began to cook their first batch of crystal meth. It was so hot out in the desert, they had to cook in their underpants. Have you ever seen such a thing? Very soon, their first batch was ready. It was a most beautiful shade of bright blue. And you know, when he tried it, Jesse got so high that when he came down, it had on him. Yeah, bitch, said Jesse. My word, Mr. White, said Jesse. That shit right there is impossibly pure. Sure is, said Mr. White. But from now on, I'd like to be known as Battenberg. Isn't that a cake? Said Jesse. Sure is, said Mr. White.